See the movies that are set during COVID, are they now technically period movies? It is now bound to be a huge part of the history books down the line, so technically speaking, this is a period movie. Very quickly, if you enjoy the cut of my jib, consider hitting subscribe. Not only is it going to keep you up to date with the latest movies I cover to add to your watch list, but you're also going to make my day. But that being said, let's get on with this one. Sick. This is set during 2020 when like the first wave is coming to an end and a lot of people are put in quarantine. You know, we get the early statistics in this movie that 97% of people were put into quarantine. Weird that it was so long ago, but so recent at the same time. So I will get this out the way right out the gate. So whilst this movie is technically a COVID movie, it's not a COVID movie at the same time. You know the way that Die Hard couldn't have happened without it being Christmas, so technically it is a Christmas movie? It is a Christmas movie, I'm sorry. The plot of this movie wouldn't make sense without it being COVID, so technically it's a COVID movie, but don't worry, it doesn't get too heavy with the COVID stuff, and it really does not get that political either. Even I personally don't like politics being too heavy in a movie, so this one was surprising that it didn't go that route. So what is sick? What's happening? So really, this movie kicks off and we're following Tyler to start with. He is just out to the shops, and I'm seeing online that this movie's getting a lot of stick for, one, it being about COVID, and two, the toilet paper issue is obviously in the movie.
Probably been hearing, talking, and thinking about one particular bathroom item a little more than normal lately.
It is and it isn't. Benji's here looking for toilet paper. He doesn't really get any. He goes to the checkout. That's it. The way people seem to be talking about this movie online, opening with the toilet paper issue, you know, it's like it's some political message, like it's going way overboard. It's really not. It's very subtle. He's just a guy at the shops at the end of the day. That's really how they play it. And Benji, he starts getting stalked. You know, someone starts texting him from an unknown number. They even send him photos of himself in line at the shop. So someone is very close to him and they are watching him. I turned 30 this year, and I very rarely feel my age. You know, I'm young at heart. That's how it'll always be. However, when he texts this, I had to Google it. It's none of your fucking business. I had not a clue in the world what the fuck that meant. So I don't know whether this is very common or the movie's just pulling an abbreviation out of thin air and hoping that it makes it look young, but my god, I felt my age for once.
I'm too old for this shit.
Benji gets home. It's none of this person's fucking business whether he took a COVID test, and he is just putting down the bag. And the stalker's here. In this introduction to the movie, it opens hard and fast. During this attack in the intro, there is a lot of quick cuts used during the fight scene. It is still so easy to follow, which is impressive actually. After the introduction, Benji's not really around much longer, shall we say, and we move to Parker and Miri. Parker and Miri, they're away to isolate together by like a lake house that their family has. So this is what I mean by COVID kind of needs to exist for this movie's plot to make sense. Sure, they could have probably written it in a different way. They've used COVID and it's fine. It just gives them an excuse to have them in a certain location and for the full plot to make sense. Whilst they're here, Parker's like ex-boyfriend arrives. They do the kind of cliche introduction where he gives them a fright. Like, who the fuck comes into the house like this?
Oh my god! DJ? What the fuck, you asshole! Why didn't you answer us before?
Cause I'm on the phone.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there was no need for that as a scare, but you know what? They're far and few between. I'll give them a pass. And this is where the movie then turns into home invasion movie. Kind of home invasion. Technically, there is a home invasion, but the whole movie doesn't take place within this house. Parker and Miri, they're on the run. They're escaping, they're fighting off the intruder as well. So technically it's a home invasion, but the whole movie's not taking place here, if that makes sense. She is going from the house out to the road. Hell, she's out in the water at some point, out in the raft. She is doing anything to get away from these attackers. We've all been there.
Look at this. You can just hold it down. Look how nice this is. Peaceful. Yeah, we don't even have to worry about cannibals. All right, we're going to go over to those other islands.
And I will say, the trailer for this movie did not do it any justice. Because when you watch the trailer, it looks like it's going to be some very political, very kind of leftist movie. Especially with this scene.
Oh my god! Just one moment. Unlock the door! Unlock the door! You have a mask, don't you? Your mask. What?
I can't let you in. It's not safe.
Are you kidding me, lady?
The movie is not a comedy. It's got some humour in it, like most movies do, but it's not a comedy. So why they chose to put this in the trailer, I don't know. They've probably alienated some of their audience by the trailer, because this woman, she just looks like somebody that's taking COVID way too seriously and maybe played for laughs at the same time. I'm not going to explain who, why and what that this isn't a comedy, because I don't want to give spoilers, but just trust me when I say that I thought it was going this way first. Turns out, very different route altogether. One I was very happy to see. The characters here, they all do their jobs pretty well. Parker, she's very likeable, and that's what we need for her. Miri, she just kind of gets put off to the side. She is the best friend, and she's in the movie. Not as much as Parker, but she's there. She still has an important role to play. And then, of course, DJ, the boyfriend that turns up, he's kind of brushed off to the side as well. The main issue I seem to have with this movie is that there's not really any character development for any of them here. There is this slightest little moment that could reveal some character development for Miri, but not even the main character, Parker. At the end of the day, it is a horror, and I'm not expecting all horrors to have amazing character development. It's not what you buy into them for. You buy in for the scares, the horror, the gore, whatever it is. But the fact that it had absolutely none, it didn't even look like it was attempting any. It felt like the movie was a little bit directionless, if that makes sense. But as horrors go, there was scares, there was twists, there was definitely some really good action, some good fight scenes in here, and above all else, Parker is a smart protagonist.
And these are the 10 smartest decisions in horror movies.
I absolutely hate when I watch a movie, especially a horror movie, where the main character does stupid decisions, because it just leaves you as an audience kind of shouting at your TV or really frustrated because you wouldn't have done what the character's done because you have some sense. Whereas here, I was with Parker in every one of her decisions. They all made sense, they were all rational, so I can't fault her for that. So with all that being said, where would I put Sick? If you're looking for a good horror and you do enjoy a home invasion movie, make time for this movie. You know, don't worry about it being political, it's really not. There is a couple of references, you know, the girls have a bit of an ego about them, certainly with social media and posting online. That's just kind of the modern era. It's only in it a handful of times, and even then, you could pass it by. As for horror element, I thought the story made sense, the plot made sense. For the plot and the story, there is just a slight suspension of disbelief needed for this movie. Don't pay attention to Wi-Fi or car tires. That would be the main thing I could give you advice for. If you've seen the movie, you're going to understand that. The acting was pretty good all around. It done the job and it served its purpose. But you've got a lead here that has very smart decisions. You can buy into her. She is actually the one that gets frustrated in a few situations, as opposed to you as an audience frustrated with the lead. So props there. Yep, it's COVID-y. These movies are bound to happen, so it's good to see one about COVID who tries to use it as kind of a setting and a place marker, as opposed to try and push some kind of message as well. And when it comes to the twists, there was a good few twists in here, and they were well delivered twists as well. But it is one of those movies that, see when you come to the end of it, everything has fallen into place by that point, so it's not going to leave you scratching your head or guessing after the movie's wrapped up. When the credits roll, you understand exactly what's happened and you can paint the full picture. So look, with all that being said, have you seen Sick? If you have, let me know what you thought of it down below, if we agree or disagree. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe. Just keeps you up to date with the latest movies I've got to cover, and not only that, you're going to make my day. But with everything now being said, as always, thank you so much for watching.